Welcome back to the Human Nexus podcast. My name is Andrew Brazis. I'm a marketing professional and private chef.
Welcome back. My name is Miss Laura Machiste. I am an online tarot reader, holistic massage therapist, and energy coach. And today we are talking all about Pisces season, the 12th house, dreams, those types of energies that just correlate with Piscean energy, with a little bit of snow information.
Yeah, a little bit of or I guess by the time this airs, the previous storm we're having right now. You want to start with it landing on a 26 year with the sixes?
Yeah, so if you have endured this past snowstorm that occurred January 24th, 25th weekend, there was a lot going on with collectively people realizing, like, wow, we have big storms in 1996, 2006, 2016, and now 2026. Those storms that kind of, I guess you could say, stop the collective per se
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
cause you to go inward or to not be able to do anything. So, as somebody who is spiritual, I was like, all right, why is nobody doing an extra leg of this? Like, all right, we're all having the awareness of the sixes, but let's see if there's a connection. So, what I did was I went online. I first asked about sixes connection to snow in general. And I guess, with ChatGPT and Google, stuff like that, you have to be a little bit more detailed in your prompt of what you're
Yeah.
asking for. So I got a very general message, but at the end, it said visually snow forms a hexagon like snowflakes. So then I asked, go deeper into that. I want to know what that means. So basically, snowflakes, the flakes themselves, are naturally hexagonal. So laws of nature, all of nature obey a specific law. So the law with snow is that each snowflake, no matter how intricate it looks, will always obey the 6-point law. The 6 points of the flake itself. And it's even crazier is that it does this no matter what every time. So I thought it was so crazy that snowflakes itself have a direct sacred geometric connection to the number 6 in its shape, in its form, and how it really comes down strong almost to the point of collective awareness on those end of 6 years. So what I ended up doing actually after the fact, which we talk about this on this podcast a lot, but how sacred geometry and astrology is like right in front of our faces. It's just in a way, shape, or form hidden. So I'm like, let me look at the snowflake emoji on the
Oh,
iPhone.
is that
Does
six
it
pointed?
have 6 points? Yes.
That's really wild. And
Isn't it insane?
what's six in numerology?
So sixes are about balance,
Mm.
nurturing, strong home life will rule sixes as well. Also, if I were to go in terms of connecting it to astrology as well as numerology, 6 would be Virgo. And Virgo is the only sign that truly like rules a person. So your persona, your energy, being at home with yourself, having to spend time with yourself or whoever is in your immediate energy. So, for example, somebody who lives alone but goes to work every day, maybe they work every single day, 6 snowstorm would cause that person into solitude where there
Mm.
is that sitting with self. But the
Yeah.
sixes in numerology do rule. I do know somebody who has a 6 life path number. And when we were all into it and looking it up in massage school, his specifically said bearing children. I kid you not, a month later, we all found out he got somebody pregnant. And then
Damn.
boom, family, starting a family. So there are just those like weird interconnections, but I think the connection to the 6 and formation of the snowflake itself was so mind blowing to me. I literally was sharing it with everybody that I knew would kind of like understand the connection. And I feel like now that's opened up something more for me too, in realizing like, okay, it's not just the happenings of it all. There actually is a connection And, with spirituality, awareness is first, the
Mm,
connectivity comes later. So I thought it was pretty cool how collectively people had the awareness of the sixes,
yeah.
but I
I
didn't
mean,
see anybody talk about the snowflake connection.
I think the like the it being 6 point and then landing on having heavy snowfall years on six ending years is pretty wild. And that made me send you the thing about Dr. Emoto, I believe is his name, where he did the test where he froze droplets of water, like flash froze them. And before freezing them, he would like say words like love and he would play music like Beethoven and then he would do like hate or like play like heavy metal and then flash freeze these things of water and it would completely change the geometric structure of the water when it was frozen. And so the connection there for me is like, well, if it's happening on a 6 year and it's six-sided naturally, I think that's just a really weird correlation in my brain. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was saying this to I told both of my channels, but I can't remember where I really went into it a lot. In my perception, if everything is alive, I'm also Pisces. This episode's about Pisces. So you might just be
Mhm.
able to get a little deep dive into the way a Piscean person's brain works. So when I look at everything, specifically like nature and stuff like that, it gives me the correlation like everything is alive, everything is living, everything holds a frequency or something like that. So when I came to this new information about the sixes connected to the snow, and when somebody like remembers something about you or they care enough to ask you a certain question, to receive information, to have a connection, it like makes you feel good. So I feel like elemental energy could also hold that frequency of feeling good when you have new knowledge about it. So I've
Mm.
worked with snow a bunch of times, but once I came into this knowledge of the sixes connected with the snow and all of that stuff, I kind of like am treating it a little bit differently because I know more about it, which I feel like if the element is really alive, it was probably appreciative, the knowing or like stuff like that. It's almost like when you get into a relationship with somebody and maybe you say something that they don't know anything about, but they look it up because they're interested in you. Like that gives you like that feel good feeling.
Hmm.
So I feel like nature is like really calling on to us to learn more from it so it can bless us back with the knowing.
Yeah,
That's just
that's
how I feel.
interesting. Speaking of Pisces season, we are moving out of Aquarius into Pisces. Pisces season starts the 18th of February, is that right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of in I guess, the middle of Aquarius season right now. What's that transition like astrologically and, for the signs?
Well, I feel like Aquarius, being the water bearer ruled by, I think, modern ruler is Uranus. During this season, there's a lot of out of the box ideas. Pisces energy kind of like blows them up into something that could be real. A lot of times, Pisces will get the stereotype of being like delusional or self sacrificial. Sometimes the martyr, where like they specifically tried to get people to feel bad for them. I would say that's more of like an unevolved Pisces. And sometimes I feel like Pisces at an unevolved level could be too strong and people pleasing.
Mm,
So we go into Uranus, which is asking us to think outside of the box. Then you go into Neptune, that's asking you to dive deep in the energy of what's real and what's not. Piscean energy can bring something that feels like almost impossible to life. Like I always say, like, if you have a Pisces friend or whoever around you and they are talking and they sound delusional, I would just let them, because a lot of
yeah.
the times for a Pisces, they really do feel like it could be real. And when it does manifest for them, they get looked at as like, oh, well, maybe you did a spell or you're a witch or you just got lucky. A lot of the times that transition from Aquarius season of thinking out of the box and holding that into Pisces delusion, a lot of the times can be brought to life as you transition through the season. So then Aries season gives you that action to go towards it. Like I remember when I came into the, all right, well, I want to read tarot online. Actually, it
Hmm.
just was my Leo channel's 4-year birthday, like today when we're
Oh,
recording this.
congrats. That's huge.
So, starting a YouTube channel that is connected to tarot is very Aquarius to me
Hmm.
because it's out of the box. It's not something that is the norm. Yeah, maybe YouTube is the norm, but what I'm doing on YouTube isn't necessarily your normal type of content unless you're into that. And as I
Yeah.
moved into Pisces season, it was kind of like, all right, you did something that was out of the box, continuously give it that energy of belief
Hmm.
to create it. And now it's on the YouTube.
And I would say, maybe I'm wrong here, but aren't Pisces like the dreamers of astrology, of the zodiac signs? So
Yeah, a
that,
lot of I would say a lot of like dreams in terms of like what they want for themselves, but also
mm,
dreams in the 5D as
yeah,
well.
like intuitively also.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of the times growing up as a Pisces sun, I actually struggled with the nighttime a lot of the
Mm,
times. Pisces is a very like night sign to me, at least, the ruler of the 12th house, the moon in the tarot, even though the moon is ruled by Cancer in astrology. I feel like with that 12th house of like digging deep and the unknown and the mystery, it kind of does give you that connection to the darker
yeah.
vibes. So I struggled a lot during sleeping moments of life, whether it was like night terrors or like nightmares or dreams that felt very vivid. I would say when I was younger, they were more premonition. I'm trying to like get
Hmm.
that back now that I finally moved myself out of the energy of society. I can just like feel the spiritual energy coming back in. But yeah, no, Pisces definitely knows how to dream for sure, but sometimes Pisces doesn't know how to anchor the dream into reality. That's where I
Mm.
feel like is their downfall sometimes. They do a lot of imagining, a lot of thinking, a lot of all of that other stuff, but sometimes the action towards it lacks.
That's interesting. I'm making a correlation. So I work with small business owners, and the beginning of the year during Aquarius season, so January to the mid-February, is more like putting out some plans. People are kind of getting caught up from last year. But when that second week of February hits, busy season is typically in March for most businesses that I work with. And so it's like February's planning, and not necessarily planning, but like setting those big dreams, those big goals, which usually don't happen. You would think they would happen in January around the first of the year, but it's because of business, the way businesses have gone, at least that I work with, those big dreams aren't, being written down actually until mid-February, which is in line with Pisces, which is really interesting to me. As a Pisces, do you feel good in February, like during your sign season?
I actually don't like Pisces season as much as I enjoy other seasons. I have no idea why. I really couldn't tell you. But I would say my vibration is a little bit more down than up, especially with Pisces being ruled by the two fish. I feel like it gets really highlighted around Pisces season of all right, another year older, and then you have the one fish that wants to go that way, and then you have the other fish that wants to go this way. So I feel like around the birthday season itself, it kind of brings that about a little bit more of like, well, which way are you swimming in this new year, new solar return for yourself? And they would say in the astrological world. But I would say Pisces season for me is I don't know. I just don't feel that uplifted. I love Aquarius season, which we're in right now. So maybe we'll be
Mm,
able to tell the difference between like the tone or like the expression I have or this, that, and the other. I am I wouldn't say easily readable, but you'll know when I'm annoyed, you'll know when I'm happy. And during
mm,
Pisces season, there is just a little bit more of that stress where I also feel like fellow Pisces I've spoken to and they feel the same way. And sometimes they'll tell me it's because they have to plan something. And sometimes Pisces people don't want to do anything for their birthdays, but the people around them want to celebrate them. So it almost creates like this obligation. Like that's how I felt last year. I was so busy I felt like I had like 5 businesses running at once, and all of these people
Mm,
are like, "So what are you doing for your birthday? So what are you doing for your birthday?" I could not handle it. I said, "We're going bowling. If you can make it, you can make it. If you can't make it, you can't make it. I cannot think of anything. Bowling is down the street. I don't
mm,
feel like planning anything. I don't want to make no reservations, this, that, and the other. And whoever shows up, shows up." And it was just almost like I literally did that just because other people were asking me what was happening, which also created this weird thing of like, I feel obligated to celebrate myself in the moment where I kind of just don't want to in this sense.
yeah.
So I feel like that could bring about certain things too. But like, I personally feel like other signs love planning their birthdays. Love it. They love it. They love it. They love it. It's like something that they look forward to. I don't
Hmm.
know. As a Piscean, I'm kind of like, all right, yay, birthday. Tomorrow's a day, the next day.
Yeah. I feel like that I know a lot of Pisces and that checks out with them, especially I don't know necessarily know about like in Pisces season, but the whole wanting to go in two different directions. And going back to, I mean, my experience with business is when that February hits, I'm having marketing conversations and I'm getting these two different, outlooks of do we go all in on marketing or do we do what we did last year and just kind of like stay small and not, spend money on more budget or not go this new route. And that's really interesting to me because that's really like is Pisces season.
Yeah. That's even crazier that you're mentioning that because as somebody that is on YouTube that I
Mm,
create revenue through ads,
mm,
January is dead. The
mm,
slowest month of the year is January
yeah.
for ads. I mean, for some people that I know are business owners, same thing, that they're just like January is just that type of month and February starts to pick up. But you know what's so interesting is whether you're paying attention to it or not, a collective holiday happens, Valentine's
Mm,
Day. It kind of brings you back into the world of like things are happening. And then you have the spring equinox, which usually happens during Pisces season where the time goes back or forward, whatever. Spring ahead, it goes forward. And then you kind of move into that Aries season. But I definitely feel like for the collective, Pisces season could also be very back and forth where, okay, do I want to do that idea that I got or had? Do I want to play that out for the future? Do I want to wait? Do I want to? So, a lot of uncertainty. And I would say during Pisces season, collectively, people feel what it's like to be a Pisces during that season and any season. If you're like really in that flow and it feels very like somebody that I cannot, not only can I change my own mind, but it's easier for me to change other people's minds as well on certain things.
yeah.
But I can talk myself out of or into anything. It's so it's amazing, but sometimes when it's in the overthought spiral, which Pisces could have issues with really spiraling, a lot of the times talking yourself out of that type of spiral, if they're too low, they're actually going to talk themselves deeper into the spiral. So I feel
Mhm.
like Pisces season is a hit or miss for like optimism or pessimism. I really do feel like it's just,
Well, I think it's really interesting too, following Aquarius season, because in our Aquarius episode, we were talking about how Aquarians they're like walking around with the giant jug of emotions that they keep close, tight. And Pisces is like the opposite of that emotionally, because like you have all the emotions, the good and the bad kind of all at once. And it's also a time I mean, like you're processing those and you're still, I mean, at least here in the Midwest and the, East US, we're still in winter. And so you're kind of forced to process those emotions. And I think it's kind of put to the forefront because now you're almost getting to spring. So it's like something that you just naturally do. Maybe not everybody, but yeah, because I'm seeing energy, Pisces season reflection, closing chapters. So I mean that really lines up just with my day to day in that season
yeah.
historically.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that resonates a lot because I feel like when I think of Pisces, I think of the ocean. You know, you don't know how
Hmm.
deep it
Yeah,
goes. You don't know
right.
where it goes. We don't, there are some like to connect the ocean to 12th house energy. There is territory or emotions that you have not, I guess, what would be the word when you just discovered yet? So I
Mm,
feel like sometimes Pisces season will bring out emotions or feelings or certain things that were hidden even inside of you. And I feel
yeah.
like sometimes people could have a hard time with that, or they can have a really good time with that because they might just be like, wow, finally, I'm feeling the
Mm,
things that are meant to be felt. But in the ocean area of it, I feel like as a 12th house, like my sun is in Pisces and it's also in the 12th house of Pisces. So I feel like I'm
damn.
constantly discovering things about myself, things about people, things about life. I feel like it just never stops. And I enjoy it. And as I have grown up, in the past, I was very, I want to know the answer. I want to know why. I don't want to have to wonder. But now,
Mm,
as I have evolved, I'm almost a little bit more like, yeah, the unknown. We'll see what happens. I don't
yeah.
want to know just yet. Let's just see how it all unfolds. I'm more open to like the mystery of it all instead of when I was younger. I was like, no, I need to know the answer now. If I ask you a question and I know you've read it, why are you not giving me the answer? Now I'm more like, I guess you could say, not only patient with other people, but patient with myself and patient with the universe.
Mm,
And not to be rude to the Pisces people, because I'm also a Pisces myself, but thinking of that ocean to fish energy, sometimes Pisces could be extremely, extremely emotionally manipulative, but
mm,
not only to other people, but it's like to themselves, to where, like I said, I can talk myself into things and I can talk myself out of things.
yeah.
But in a vice versa way, Pisces can sometimes use that as a weapon because they understand emotions so well, or maybe in the way they think they understand it. Sometimes they weaponize it against other people
Mm,
in terms of, I feel like it could go either way, where it's like victim
mm.
or it's the opposite, where they are creating a victim out of you on purpose. Like, I don't put anything past like a Pisces person because they make it seem like they don't know what they're doing.
Which is
A lot
interesting
of times
because
they know what they're doing.
I have no Pisces in my chart anywhere. I have very little water in my chart, but I've dealt with a lot of Pisces closely and I have a lot of Pisces close friends. And so I feel like that's on brand as far as maybe not like in a manipulative way intentionally, but I would say unevolved. Pisces is a really intuitive sign. And so instead of like leaning into the intuitiveness, they're trying to control it.
Right.
And then that is how it comes out, unfortunately, which is, I mean, I would not think it's a malicious thing, but some people maybe.
But I do have to say, although Pisces could be a little bit whatever at an unevolved state, because I was
Mhm.
once one of them and I'm still evolving. So I'm sure there are still things that must be worked on and this, that, and the other. They are very intuitive, very strong psychic medium energy.
Mm,
Like I was the one in the family that got visited by passed on loved ones, saw signs easier. I would say Pisces are very observant. So I've always said growing up that my peripheral vision is like magic. I don't know how it works, but I could be looking at you and you think I'm looking at you, but I'm actually paying attention to what's happening over here. So I do that a lot. I feel like Pisces people are very, very good at observing subtle things in people. So, for example, I'm a swim coach for high schoolers, right? They
hmm
think they're talking and nobody's paying attention to them, but I'm paying attention to them. There was like an issue that some of the girls were having with each other, and I was able to observe that something was going on before it was said to us. And I was like, all right, yeah, no wonder those two were walking just a little bit more behind everybody. Like those very,
mm,
very subtle things Pisces can pick up on a unevolved, extremely toxic state, like in past relationships. If I was in a relationship with somebody and I would be in their room, scan. I know exactly where everything is. If I come
mm,
back in the next day, something is moved or something is there or something was there that wasn't there before or this, that, and the other, I will be able to pick up on it very, very, very easily. It's almost like, I mean, I don't know if all Pisces have this, but I photogenic memory and very good at observing in just like very, very, very minor details, which I feel like could be a gift when
Yeah.
used correctly. But I would say Pisces gift slash curse is kind of like observing a little too much or knowing a little too much, because sometimes the things that you know or find out aren't always as
Well,
positive.
that mixed with like the emotional intensity that Pisces have, just internally,
Right.
from what I know, is that can go sour very quickly.
That's why back in the day, I also have an Aries rising, so I'm sure that could play a part in it. But if I guess what do they say now? If you peep something, if I see something, I don't know, what did Justin Bieber say? If I clock something back in the day, oh, I was the queen of
So,
confrontation. I had to
yeah,
say it. I had to
should
make
I
it
say?
known.
Yeah.
Now I'm a little bit more like, all right, keep this to yourself. We don't want them to know
Mhm.
we saw it yet. So I guess it's
Interesting.
still a little bit more, I guess it's still in the way of being observational and somewhat calculated, but I guess it's less toxic
Yeah.
and less, I guess
It's
you could
less,
say,
it's not as reactive.
right, reactive.
Yeah. Yeah, which is good.
Because I
So
feel like
Pisces,
Pisces could be reactive because they
my
feel the emotion so strong. It's like
yeah,
almost like
that's what I'm
passive.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's my experience of Pisces, and I have lots of really close, dear Pisces friends. So this is not shade on any of them, and I've known a lot of them for a very long time, and so seeing them in unevolved states be extremely emotionally reactive, and then as they get more comfortable in their self and their settings and everything, they're less emotionally reactive, but they're tapped into the intuitive side, which
Mm-hmm.
is tapped into the intuitive side way more, which is just way better, in my opinion.
Right.
It's just better experience, and they seem happier, healthier mentally. Do you have
Well,
anything
if
else
you're
to
a
add?
Pisces, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if you had
Oh,
anything to add to that.
well, if you're a Pisces watching, I would say, fellow Pisces, to give both fish a chance. I feel like sometimes Pisces will get stuck on the one fish and just be
Mm,
like, well, this is the way it is. This is how it's going to be forever. Adaptability and mutable power is something to take advantage of. And if you're not one of those people that can look at a certain situation and boom, split it, see the positive and see the negative, and kind of create a lesson or a win out of them, then evolution and practicing that will be your key to manifesting, expanding your life, attracting things in. I feel like Pisces' downfall is getting stuck on that one fish's direction and
hmm
saying, well, this is it for me, or this is how my life is going to be forever. You really want to take advantage of that mutable power and having the power to shift and to change and to swim in a different direction, because Pisces has a little bit more adaptability than other signs do. And I feel like if you're not taking advantage of that, you're holding yourself back in multiple different areas of your life as well as your actual self. So I actually saw a video to end this episode, and this guy is getting interviewed and he's like, I never lose. He's like, I've always won in life. I never had a loss in my whole life. And this guy's like, that's impossible. You've definitely had a loss in your life. He was like, well, I did. My grandfather died, but once he died, I felt closer than him to ever before. I felt like he was blessing me. I felt like I could actually talk to him in a different way. I felt a different type of connection. So technically, yeah, maybe his physical plane here, but I have the win of a guardian angel and like things like that. So
Yeah,
if you could try to look at life in that way, you'd be very, very surprised of what it will reflect back to you as a, reflective sign. All water signs are mirrors no matter what, because water gives a reflection in element. So really, really honing in on what you're putting out there is going to be really important. And I say that too to my people on my channel that comment stuff. And I'm like, they'll love readings. They'll be like, oh, this will never happen, or this will never, or money, or this. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It isn't going to, because you,
yeah.
you just typed it out. So words are your wand, and really having a strong belief is important.
Which is really good for Pisces season if you're not a Pisces, because you're picking up on that intuitive energy, the dreaminess of being a Pisces, and then the emotional depth that can be reached. So that's strong stuff, good stuff.
Go in
And
the water. Go for a swim. Do
go for,
something.
well, it's too cold. Well, I guess if you're indoor.
Yeah. And if you don't know
Uh,
how to swim and you're a Pisces, I would learn.
oh, interesting take.
Handling water is
Mm,
very, very spiritual.
yeah, that's a good point. Next time, we are doing the astrological new year and some timelines there. That's it. That's all I got. Thanks everybody for watching, tuning in.
Thanks for being here. See you next time. Bye.